Awesome. What's up, guys? What's up? Thank you, Mr. SLP. Let me screen share here on the Discord. Um, Let me get my screen share going on, and we will go from there. Let's find some day trades. Let's find something to make money with. Right, meow. Hi, I'm AmmaJamma. For anyone who's not familiar with Discord, might have stumbled upon us from Facebook, from Instagram, wherever you came from. I'm AmmaJamma. I'm a little bit kooky, but I'm a lot of fun. I promise. I'm hardcore when it comes to feedback about day trading. I'll put the ball back in your hands. This is the easiest thing to say. I like to ask questions. I like to know your guys' thought processes in your day trades, why you take them, this and that. I move quickly with the trades and options, especially SPY is kind of blasting. I'm watching the SPY right now, but this is a very impulse move. You do not get into calls at this point here. Honestly, I posted this level of pre-market. This is where you got into calls. Here's a perfect example of what we're watching for. Let me switch this to orange, this line right here. I posted a chart before market open today, and what I had said about the SPY is this. I had said if we break over this line with an impulsive move and then we retest, we're going to go for calls. That's when you take a little call for a day trade. This and that. Look at this candle right here. It's a perfect example of when to get in a call. This is a massive candle we got going on here. This is an impulse candle. It's going to exhaust itself. It's not sustainable. Jumping into calls on this candle particularly is never what I would suggest, because I think by 386.60 we hit major resistance at that point. So if you're jumping in now, you're chasing into something. But why did I like the entry at this orange line? We've got 5 steps to trading a trend, guys, and that's kind of what I'm going to talk about first. And we love Weeble. I'm used to charting on TradingView. I do Weeble because most of you do Weeble. So let me fix this line that decided to move itself here. All right, so we've got this line here, as we could see. All right, so and then we have a second line here. So this is what I was looking at. We have these two separate lines. We have this trend line on the 5 minute. I'm gonna pop it back onto the 1 minute for now. This was our trend line that, oh my gosh, this moves every time I flip it between one another. See how it's on the bottom, and then I flip to the 1 minute, it's on top. It's maddening to me. But anyway, here we go. We'll just chart on the 5 minute because we love Weeble. All right, so as you can see, this is how how would you know whether to be bullish or bearish at market open? How do you know right away what you're going to take a trade in? Those type of things. I get those questions a lot because I'm in the day trades immediately. Market open, I'm putting trades out pretty quickly. And for this, it was pretty easy. This was quite easy. We had established a trend. Of course, we saw these wicks that went below this trend line, but for the most part, we have a fairly solid trend line for the last 36 hours, which is an eternity when you're day trading SPY options. 0 DTE, 1 DTE, which means day till expiration, which means it expires today, tomorrow. High risk, high reward, but high risk. Stop loss are critical. All right. But right here, we could see there's a couple different thought processes to this. All right, we've got our safe entries, we've got our riskier entries. What's our safer entry? What's our riskier entry, Amy? All right, I'll tell you, we're on the 5 minute. This first 5 minute candle, we opened up red. If we pop it on the 1 minute, you could see we opened up red today, a couple candles. But let's flip it back to that 5 minute chart. We could see we held up the trend from the last 36 hours. That was our support. So when we see that first impulse move, all right, the first bounce off the trend line, there's 2 thoughts of action here. Taking the trade right away off this bounce, which would be this candle here. All right, that's kind of your riskier entry. All right, because that was our first impulse move, market open. We didn't exactly wait for a retest line, a true test, because those first 5 minutes are very impulsive type candles. All right. So, that's what we're talking about with trend-based trading. And I'll give you examples. There's 5 steps to trend-based trade. Your first step you've got is your impulse move. You get an impulse move. What that means is a non-sustainable move that kind of doesn't make too much sense, but at the same aspect, you can get a really nice profit off of a really pure impulse move. I'll show you a couple more on a couple other trades, but for now, this was that candle here. We had the impulse move right off that trend line. We bounced really strongly. Let's put back to the 1 minute. You can see how when we bounced off this trend line, we had a very strong impulse, but then we had our retest, which was right here. All right. So we always have an impulse. Second, we're going to have a retest. And what's the retest? Retest is where we're going to come back and test that trend line. Anytime we have a strong move that tests some sort of a trend line, more than likely than not, you're going to retest it. You're going to come back, retest it. Is this for real? Are we really going to hold here? This and that, so on. Yes. Okay. So if let me pop up our polyline here. So we had our impulse move down. I mean, we came down, tested. We had our impulse move up. Here's our come back down and retest the line. That's our entry. The retest is our entry. No matter what, on any chart, day or night, long-term, short-term, day trade, swing trade, leap, anything else, you are abundantly safer taking an entry on a retest than the first test of a trend line. Our first test is always going to be more impulsive, more weak, less behind it, just very, you could be very, it's just riskier. Okay. You wait for that retest and that's where you're good to go. And if you waited here for that retest and that second bounce off to the line, you said, you know what? This SPY is holding. We are pushing today, baby. Let's get in that call. And if you're in a 0 DTE, 1 DTE, even next week call, this right here off your second test, your retest, it's at least, this is on a 0 DTE today's calls. I'll bet these, all right, let's check the time. We'll see what it moved up, 9:05. So we pop on the options. Let's go to 386, closest to the money. All right. What did it say at 9:05? Okay, right here. So we went from 29 cents to $1.06. So that's telling me we went 300% in 15 minutes here. And everybody says, but Amy, day trading is so risky and it moves so fast and woo this and woo that, all those things. And yes, you are right. All those things happen. But just by waiting 4 minutes to get into the trade and don't touch it and I call it the no-no zone. Everybody that knows me knows I have a few different things that are the no-no zone. And one of them is waiting for the retest. Don't touch it here. Wait for that retest. You're eliminating half the risk with just as much reward. Because if you got in right here at that first bounce, more than likely you're getting shaken out here. You're like, well, crap. I almost said a potty word. You're like, crap. I took that entry at the first impulse move. What's it gonna do? You're getting sketched out because you got in right here and you're in a 0 DTE and you're already down 15% on that 1 minute candle and you don't know what to do with yourself because you literally are like, is this going to hold? Is this going to hold? You start panicking. What happens in that situation? Two things happen. You're all up in your feelings. You either sell for break even or loss on this yellow box right here, or you're so freaked out that you cut your profit short and you sell right stinking here because you cannot believe it worked out and you're green. That's what happens when you jump into a trade too quickly. Instead of letting this thing breathe, look at this 5-minute chart. Not a single place in the world you should have sold this play. All right. Just by waiting those simple few little minutes there to wait for that retest. All right. So obviously we had our step 1 impulse move here, step 2 retest and consolidation, kind of step 1.5 to 2.5. All right. You'll have that little bit of consolidation, which was in this area here. Which is this area here. Okay. So we had our retest. We had a couple candles trading sideways, and then we had that final wick down. All right. Before, as you can see on this candle right here, before we have this massive volume come in with this full wick at the bottom. What does this tell us right here? As far as the wicks go, these 4 candles right here, they tell us that, holy cow, those buyers are stepping in when we're coming down to this line. Those low wicks on all these candles, all the way across, all the way down, really, the bodies were being pushed to the top of the wicks. What does that tell us? That tells us that the buyers were stepping in. They want to be bullish today. Don't forget, ignore this orange line. It's missing when it's moving when I'm flipping from the 5 minutes to 1 minute chart. We know that line's down here. Anyway, let me catch my breath. So as you can see, and a little bit with the candle formation, the same thing. All right. This screams bullish to us because not only do we have like 4, 5, 6 candles right in a row here where these wicks are at the bottom of the candle, we've got low ass volume at the same time. So what does that tell us? We get this candle here. We retested this SPY. Instead of being in a hurry and flipping between 18 different charts, you stay on your chart, you study your chart, you learn your chart, you love your chart, and you're good to go because, you have to you know, you have to slow down a little. I know that's funny coming from me because I do alert so much stuff, but you have to slow down a little bit because if you abandon that SPY chart in the first few minutes because you weren't sure what's going to happen, you missed that beautiful setup. All right. So we're at this candle here. And then what do you know? We get that volume coming in, we get the massive, massive break. All right. So after our step, we had our step one impulse, our step two retest. Step three is consolidation, trading sideways, figuring out what it does. Step four is when you enter a trade. Your confirmation is when you enter your trade. And then step five is your continuation. You want to wait till confirmation. I know it's like, wow, we're not entering a trade till the fourth step. Yes, we're not entering trade for the fourth step because you know what that does? That gives us, eliminates our risk. It eliminates our risk. It eliminates all that uncertainty of jumping the gun, getting in that first bounce off the trend line, and we're sitting in this zone panicking. Like I said, we're panicking because it sells back down. We're slightly red. What do? And then we cut ourselves off at the knees when we start to see a little bit of red in this area here because we already sweated bullets through this part here because we jumped the gun. That's what happens all the time in the Discord. I see these weekly trades. And here's the thing, guys. If we're taking a 0 DTE, a 1 DTE trade, tell me, does it make sense to put that kind of crazy, crazy risk on the line for 10 or 12%? When one candle can essentially stop you out 20, 25%. This candle right here, I'm willing to bet this is a 20% candle. What time do we got here? All right, let's see what time this candle is. 9:33. Let's look on the options chain at 9:33. All right. So that candle at 9:33 was literally 31 cents to 46 cents. So this candle right here was a 35 to 4. It was actually over 40% for one candle right here. So why on earth are we taking the risk of a 0 DTE or a 1 DTE trade and selling at 5, 10, 15%? You know, like that risk reward isn't evening out. And I think that is what some people struggle with in our Discord in general. When it comes to when to lock profits, what to do, this and that. All right, I don't know what this line is from, but I'm expecting some resistance here. All right, so how do we not get caught on the reversal? Let's get a day trade in on the SPY. How do we not get caught here, AmmaJamma? I'll tell you how. First of all, we wait for at least one stair step back down. And for me, it's below this area here at least. All right. We want this wick low before this impulse move back up. So this is didn't mean to move that line. So this right here is going to be my no zone. This is where people get caught. Like, oh, we hit that top. It has to come down. I'm going to immediately take this SPY put right here. Sure, you can do that for a few extra percent and expose yourself to an abundance more risk. Yeah, makes sense. But what I expect is going to happen is this is the area where we might take a bounce and come back up. So if you're taking a trade like this, for the most part, these impulsive moves like we have here, we're going to come down, float around this area, maybe come down right below it, and we could come back up and either do the double top or blast right past. Because the second time, if we come back and blast over this high a day of 386.63, it's going to be an impulse candle, which means within 1 to 2 minutes of clearing 386.63, I believe we will easily hit 387. If we get that impulse push up to here, you know, that's where we have to watch it, because we'll get that impulse move backed up the same way we get down. So anyway, that's a little bit about the 5 steps. It's just, I want to break that down first and we'll go from there. We'll look for some day trades, this and that, of course. But I think a lot of people, especially in this nasty ass market we're in right now, let's be honest, guys, we're in a nasty market. If you're not day trading or you're not picking the right days for an overnight trade and at most 2-day trade, you're getting wrecked. We're getting wrecked. I'm getting wrecked. We're all getting wrecked. We're making money in the Discord, don't get me wrong, but for anyone here from free, this and that, full disclosure, it's a rough market. We have to time, like, you know, SPY calls. You know how many times I've SPY calls overnight? It's easy to say, oh my God, we would have been up. What is it? What is this showing for the option chain? Anywhere from 45 to 300%, depending on the call. It's easy to say that after the fact, but in this market, we're getting absolutely tore up, you know? So those are things we have to consider. in this market in general. So you can't come into the market with just intent on I'm bearish. SPY's coming down, I'm bearish, and that's it. I see a lot of people start to drift from playing the charts and the technical analysis over playing what the charts are actually telling us, playing your feeling over technical analysis, and that can really hurt you. I mean, that's just the reality of it. But we're here to live trade. Let me watch this one. We're gonna pop up a couple others that we have active trades out now. I want to watch. Roblox, the first one. This thing is doing beautiful. Great entry. This one, because we have some people in the Discord that are newer, I went a week and a half out on these. If you got same week, you're up well over 100%. And then if you got the ones with me, which we bought in this area here, you're up a good 50 to 55%. So on this, what I do, my thought process on when I scale out of these contracts is when we lose our trend line. So on this particular trade, I would abandon my last contract if we lose this wick low here, or set it at a stop loss if you're buying multiple contracts. If you're a small account and you can only afford one contract, of course, you're not holding anymore right now because you're going to get rid of it. If not in this area, you're going to get rid of it in this next area. Because here's the reality of it, folks. How do you know when to sell? Everybody cuts themselves off at the knees, takes these 5% and sees it run 60%. Look for that first area. All right. So on this chart here, we can see immediately right here where we hit our head a little bit on the way up. Would you look at that? That was like our main resistance point for the whole morning here. From 6:30 on, we hit our head there. So we knew as we broke over that high, two things were going to happen. First, our 5 steps of playing a trend. We had our impulse push up. And this is how you knew to hold this contract here. Amy, how do you know when to hold the contract and not get rid of it here then? When are you giving this up? When are you giving it back? That's exactly how. It's the same 5 steps of playing a trend, but breaking it down in real time. We knew when we know because of those 5 steps, folks, that when we start to break over this area here, we know that we're going to get the impulse move. And look at that impulse move. Boy, did we get it. You know, we had a strong move up, and there is absolutely nothing wrong with selling here. If you sold here, you're fine. That's great. You're all good, you know. But as far as like if you have 2 contracts, 3 contracts, you weren't away from your computer, this or that, you know, all right, this was our pre-market area. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Sorry, guys. This was our pre-market resistance point. So we knew we want to see us pick up our resistance there or we're out. That's just the reality of it. And that's what happened. This one, though, this is where I'm hard pressed to say anyone would really hold on to this, because we did lose the previous, we talk about those stair steps up. Technically, when we lost this stair here, that's where, unless you bought multiple contracts, you have one left like me, this is where I can understand selling. You know, in that area here. And then at that point, our trend lines are starting to form. We've got our trend line here. And then we've got our bottom trend line forming. So now we could see we're in a, what is that called? That's our channel. So now at this point here, play the channel, watch for that breakout. Breakdown. All right, let's go back to SPY, wait for these puts. All right, so we're in that area that I'm kind of expecting us to pop up for a secondary push. What I would like to see in this area here is 2 things. For SPY calls, we want to see a breakout of that 386.63, break at least up to 387, come back down and retest this area here and hold. That's where I would like a little scalp call at. For our puts, I want us out of this box. I'm not taking calls at this point, at this candle here, because if we hit that double top, it's not enough time to get in and out unless you're scalping with hotkeys. In that aspect, it makes total sense to honestly take the call right here up to that line. If you were to do that, you go as close to money. You go 387 at 69 cents, 386 at $1.20. Those 2 contracts, and with something like this, you know, this is our stop loss. So in this here, our stop loss is immediately, and this is not like an official call out play. I'm just talking through my thought process in something like this. Our stop out would be this box here. And these are, remember, this is an abundantly less safe entry. We haven't proven anything here. We haven't confirmed one way or another. So like I'm talking about here, I wanted to see this come down, test this area here, come back up as we're doing. Now I want to see us lose this line. This is where I want to see us for those puts. And in that aspect, we've got to watch this. This is where we could pop on that MA and the VWAP, as a matter of fact, and watch, at least for that touchdown. I mean, we've got quite the gap down to that VWAP. There's no guarantee we come back down to that VWAP, but it's just that's the area I'm watching, as well as the 55 MA. So my blue line is our 55 MA, which if you want to get very, very simple with your day trading, guys, and I'm talking super simple, turn on just that 55. Not the 50. I like the 55, not the EMA. I like the MI, and play that with the breaks out over it, bullish, the breaks below it, bearish. As long as you stay away from it, for the most part, stay away from all that first half hour. But anytime aside from that, you get some really nice movement for scalping, for day trading. Due to that, I mean, you could look right in this area here where, when I didn't have these on when we were going over it, look at how that breakdown, how it could have faked a lot of people out. Oh my gosh, we lost the 55. Oh my gosh, we lost the VWAP too. Just by waiting for that retest, you have saved yourself half the stress, half the stress, half the pain, half the worry, and most than likely half your profits by doing that. Because, like I said, you're so exhausted and so worked up over that trade that you're abandoning the trade the first chance you see red, and you're out right here for probably about 11%, versus up here for well over 150%. And it's tough, and I understand it's tough. And I've been day trading's not for the weak of heart, guys. Totally understand that. Hold on, I'm gonna grab a drink of water real quick. All right. So we're still in our consolidation zone. We're still watching. Let's flip through a couple other charts. Roblox still looks strong. Love it. Only have one contract left there. Tesla is in our little wedge. So let's draw this wedge on Tesla and see what happens. And if for everyone paying attention, in the chats, I'd love to hear what you guys think about Tesla with this chart here, and why you're leaning bearish or bullish, and I'll give you my thoughts on that as well. Tesla at 135 is pretty interesting though. I've been leaning more towards the 120, 125 area, where I think we're going to find a bottom at. So, all right, top has been giving me a couple tickers. Let's pull these up. All right, well, this one is coming. All right, so what do we do with something like this where it already kind of popped, and we're watching at this point here? This is where this is the first thing I'm doing in this situation, is putting my fibs on. All right, because I don't necessarily want to sit and stare at this chart as an analyst, because I want to give you guys some trades, but I also would love to see it pull back to at least our 50%, if not our golden fib 618. So this is the area I'm going to hold it on. And I definitely, if we lose, hold on, let me fix this. Webull doesn't save it. All right, if we lose this area here, this is another no-no zone. I'm not touching trades in this area. This is for me. If it doesn't pull back at least to almost close to that 0.50, I'm not touching it. And I can't get into the whys of all this stuff at this moment, to be honest, but our green zone is here. So this is what I'm looking for. These are the two zones I would watch for a trade like that. All right, let's check the SPY again. Still hanging out in that area here. Still undecided. Still hasn't decided what it wants to do. Roblox, same thing. Tesla. All right. So let's see if we get 5 steps. Let's see if we get a put or a call entry here. I want to see us break out below this wedge, demagnetize ourselves from the wedge, and then come back and retest it before we would even dream of taking an entry here. So that's what we're doing, even with watching this. I've got a couple more charts I am watching. XOM is another one. We've got the live trade in on XOM, and you guys, if any of you guys took that one, I think we took it at, I'm not really into talking about what trades we already did, but I know some of you are probably in this one, so I'll update it. The 107. All right, so we're at like $1.86 now. We got as high as, let's see here, 193. So 80. We're up. We hit about 75-80% up on this one. Obviously, I don't like the entry here. So on this chart, and like Amy, I have one contract left. What do I do? When do I sell? I would just pop the trend line on here. I mean, honestly, and then loss a trend, and I would sell. This was another one we have out this morning. We're kind of ripping all over the place. I'm a little disappointed I didn't put more trades out. All right, so here's that impulse candle here that we want to see. Now we're sitting at that double top here. If you took you're up 10%. If you took that 387, you're up about 8%. If you took the 390, I'm sorry, the 388. You should be up 8 to 10%, 386, 387. If you took either of those, we're up about 10% here. Um, and then these candles will give you 10% or take 10% away. What I like to do generally with the zero DTEs in a situation like that, if you did take that entry with me, um, once we hit 10 to 15 to 20%, I will scale out of at least half of my contracts. For something like this where it's like 60 cents to $1 a contract, I generally will buy 5 to 10 contracts for myself personally. I'm not suggesting other people do that. That's just personally what I do here. We're still in indecision. So if we zoom in and we get really technical with this. So here's our wick low. This is like our trend line we're watching at this point. Let me trade it to a little bit thicker of a line so you guys could see it. And I'll turn it to purple because why is this our trend line now, Amy? Because this is where we came down, tried to hold up, pop below it, hit our head on it a few times. I expect us to get the impulse candle right now. And if we don't get an impulse candle and push it up above that high day in the next 3 candles, I'm turning bearish. That's just the reality. I will be bearish at that point. That's what we need to see, some of that sustainability. And also, guys, because this is more a live stream type, oh, is it here? Let me give you the guys. We're full. We're live on YouTube as well. Let me put the link. Hold on, guys. I'm gonna give you the link for YouTube as well. Here is the YouTube. All right. There we go. Oh, Nikki did it. Thank you, Nikki. Um, All right. So here's then the next 3 minutes is when I want to see that impulse candle, or it's showing me a hint of bearish double top, because it should be an impulsive move if we do get that push, and it would be quick. And if it's quick with low volume, then I'm looking for a little bit more continuation where we could push easily over 377 or 387, excuse me. But if it's a higher volume impulse candle, I would expect the pullback to be pretty quick. But I do think we're starting to get that flickering candle. And then what you do then, what I like to do, let me slide this up a little bit. Here's a little trick for you guys. All right. You pop this time in sales on, and the color, the inflow of color you start to see is going to be about 1 second ahead of the candle and how the candle moves. So if you start seeing an inflow of green and white coming in, then you should see a pretty nice pop on the candle. If you start to see an inflow of a lot of red coming in here, then you'll start to see the candle pull back, and it's about a half a second variance on that versus what the candle actually does. And for scalping, that half second is a lot, especially if you're not using hot buttons. You're trying to sell, you're trying to decide, are we going to hit our head here, this or that. We did hit about 18 to 19% on those spy calls, which I did say were very, very risky at that point because it was unproven. But at the same time, you guys are here to live trade, so I'm going to give you the trades. And I do think we push over in the next minute or so. It's looking like it wants to. Someone's got a hot mic. United, you got a hot mic. United, you got a hot mic. Thank you. No, you're good. You're good. There we go. Here's our candle. We're exactly what we're looking for here. We need to see this candle push pretty hard now. We don't want to see that immediate rejection. We want to see a pretty nice push at this point. But that was the minute we expected that candle to start pushing. If you are in either of those trades that we took, you're up about 20 to 25% on those, depending on your entry. It was trading somewhat sideways when I suggested the entry. So you got an entry pretty close to mine on those. That's about 20, and that's why Time is of the essence with did you see this candle starting to flicker here? That's when it gets those impulse moves, and I do think we touched that 387 right here. See how that flicker right after I mentioned that flicker, we were about to get that impulse move? Like, the more you stare at these candles, you really start to learn what we're looking for on the candles in order to get those type of moves there. So, about 35%, a little over that, we hit on the candle here, and it looks like it wants to push and test that 387. We'll see here. Anyone have any questions as well? Like, any questions you guys have? I know that, live trading can be rough. I mean, not live trading, day trading, momentum trading can be pretty rough. I totally understand that. There's our candle we wanted to see. Alright, you're up about 45% here on that live trade at the SPY. Wasn't an alert, but I did give you the entries and said exactly what we were looking for, and it did exactly what we were watching. And we're getting that candle. We're gonna hit that 387. Don't make a liar out of me by 2 cents. Come on, guys. See, now I can't soundbite this and talk about how we hit 387 because it made a liar of me. We're 2 cents short. I'm sorry, guys. This was yeah, like, there is ways it's because that's where I get a little hesitant. A lot of people are so quick to be like, "Oh, double top puts," or and that's why you have to be a little patient. Even if we come down immediately right now, give me my penny. Come on, give me my penny. There we go. Okay, okay. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Alright, so at this point, you're up about 55%, 58% on that call. Um and this is where I expect us to pull out a little. Before we started way back here, I said when we hit 387, if we don't get a strong push almost immediately, one or two things is what we're watching. So now what are we watching, Amy? Now we're watching the retest of our high a day. So we're watching for these couple things. Like when do I sell my calls? I don't know what to do now. I'm up 50% and now I'm watching it go down to 45% because it moves so fast. I'm freaking out. I'm ready to sell. All right, I'll tell you what we do. So now high a day is going to be our decision point. So our impulse move, how it moves, this is the area that, we're watching for 2 things. And the first thing is, are we going to come we're going to come back down and test that high a day. It's just a matter of when. I believe we will at least. We could have another nice strong move over the next couple minutes and then come down and test it. But that to me is that if you're in multiple contracts already scaled out at this point, you got 1, maybe 2 left, and we're watching our white box. We're watching this for our retest zone. Is that high a day is gonna be our retest, and if we lose that and we lose it with authority, then our put entry would slide up a little bit. I would put my put entry at the loss of this zone here. So like in this red box here, and then our yellow would be our kind of indecision in there. And then this would be our puts down here. But you got to remember, like, let it have a full candle open and close below that before I would take that put entry because wick can get you. Like these wicks here, you get 1 wick. That's why I always talk about like my stop loss, having it open and close below the stop loss, a candle, because you can get wicked out so quickly. Here we go. We're gonna get another push here. I think that we get another 30 cents. Looks like it wants to really because that's on low volume, guys. I mean, this volume was decent with the push up here, but this isn't compared to the volume on the way up here. If we test this volume at all, some of this higher volume, we'll get a really nice push here. Let's wait and see what happens. Everybody just likes to listen today, I see, huh? I see what was Lee talking about the ETFs? I see some LabU, SOXL. I miss it, Boil and Cold. Oh man, those are my favorites. Let's check a couple of our other stocks that we're in. So Roblox is kind of hanging out. We got that double top here, kind of the same thing. Do I abandon position? What do I do from here? Very similar. And here we want to see we want to see a loss of at least one level. So this would be our area here. We I wouldn't even think about puts till at least this level here, and you're actually sitting below our wick down. Uh, and this is day trading, guys. There's no such thing as like this is the safe entry. It's an all, it's just it's all sketchy for the most part. It's day trading. We've got a little bit bearish divergence here, higher low here than here. We are higher low here, but lower high here. It's on the 1 minute, so it's not strong, but as far as like it's one of the first things you look for us to maybe come back down some. So definitely looking at that as well. Tesla's still hanging out in our wedge. It's gonna make a move here soon. And XOM finally is kinda hanging out. We are testing that trend line though. So here on here, probably below that 55 MA, would be my prediction here, because we haven't necessarily lost the trend yet. Just because the candle is peaking below trend doesn't mean we lost trend. That is not a loss of trend yet. Check our SPY. Alright, so now we're gonna come down and test our wick high and see what happens in there. But this was a nice little push though, it doesn't seem like a lot, but when it's 1 day, 2 day, even 3 day till expiration, it gives you a lot more than you're expecting. Man, this stream is flying by. I can't believe it's already been 40 minutes. Holy cow. I love it. It's so fun. The more you guys ask me questions, or you can even grill me in the chat. You can make fun of me. You're gonna get more out of me the nicer you are. So I need that reassurance because I can't even say it out loud. But no, like seriously, I have fun with the streams. You guys know that. Rip on me, make fun of me. Let's do it. Huh? Look at all those muted mics, all these hot mics in here. Sheesh. All right, what are we gonna do, Tesla? So our three main watches at this point, well, four. We've got Roblox, Tesla, XOM, Spy. Those are the four that I'm kind of watching. So at this point, you're still valid. That uptrend is still valid. We are hanging out at that wick high right in that area here. So technically, for your last contract, still valid. I never, ever, ever suggest holding this contract. If it was one contract, holding it below that point, you're giving up too much on a 1 day DTE, 2 day TE. That's too much you're giving up. But for those with a little bit larger account that can buy multiple contracts, you see how strong that bounce was off of our wick high there, so it's just something to think about. So our Roblox is still just hanging out. XOM, oh, look at that. This is why we don't take it below that 55. See that bounce? I mean, now it's like, okay, do we take the call? Is that what that means? Nope. No, 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 nope. I want to see us break back up into that trend. All right, because we have our impulse move down. We have our trend line we bounced off of. Okay, we've got a little trend. Nothing strong. These 5 steps of trading a trend, as long as we have 3 touch points on something, that's kind of like my zone, my jam. So here we've got 2 different things we're looking at. We've got this double top we hit. All right in this area here, and we couldn't get over it. Little bearish there. We've got the 55 MA that scooped it up like a baby and started cradling it. So now we wanna see the break up over both. We wanna get over that double top with us back in this trend over the 55, or with some below it all. We want that baby to get dropped and get flushed down the toilet. So we're watching for those 2 things right now, and I don't mean like one little wick below it. I mean, like, make a little space between it there. So those are the 2 things we're watching in this area. Have patience. I know it's kind of a little weird to say have patience scalping day trades, but it's true. So let's go back to the SPY, and that SPY might break that 387.12. Are we going to get that an impulse candle again? Let's see what happens. What's this volume? This volume isn't really kicking in really, but what's interesting about that is you could see as the volume started to fade away, the chart started to fade away. That volume matters. Look at the volume kicking up, chart kicked up, and there's that. See that impulse? You see how fast those candles move when you break those higher days? These impulse wicks, they will wreck you and they will make you if you're on the right or wrong side of them. That's just the reality of it. It's what we live and we die for. Let's be real. So we're at about a buck 14 on those contracts. We got in for 69 cents. So we're looking at about 65%. Mule, I love you. It's not it's energy. I love trading. I mean, like you guys, like when I talk about how much passion we have to help you guys, like it's indescribable. It wrecks my day. When I put out a couple day trades in a row that don't work out, oh my God, like it wrecks my day. The energy comes from the passion, 100% without a doubt. That's just the reality of it. So, I do drink caffeine. I can't even lie. I'm drinking a Coca-Cola though. No Red Bull. I swear off the Red Bull. Um, so yeah, we got that impulse wick here. So now we don't want to necessarily hold all the way back to down to that previous high. Now I would say that last contract we would want to get rid of that area, and you just kind of slide it up a little bit as you go. And that's how you're still in. From way the F down here, this is where if my eyes are on the chart, this is where I would have put that play out right here. And then 200% later, everybody sold here because like just your gut couldn't handle it anymore. And I get it. I get it. Trust me. So you sweated it out and sold on this wick here, and we're way up here without a single trend loss. This stair step the whole stinking time left up. So, of course, we didn't get to the chart in time here, but even when we got to the chart, we still managed to get a 50 to 60 percenter, you know? So, it's tough. It's hard to I get it. It's hard to make sense of playing a trade that already ripped this much in a bullish way. I understand that. But at the same time, you trust either the analysts or the way your comprehension of the chart, your support and resistance lines. So here we go. Perfect example of why you don't jump in too quick. That was our impulse move down. 55 picked it up. We're coming back up. So either we're going to hit that rejection and come down, or we're going to break back up into that trend channel. Move this box about up to here because the 55 is moving up as we go. And I'm bullish if we break up over this line here for a little bit of continuation. SPY's holding up. This SPY is behaving in one of those fashions where it kinda wants to go up all day. Not that it will, it's still very early in the day, but this kind of behavior of the SPY is definitely where you see quite the push coming out of it. And Tesla is still in this wedge. Alright. What's your new candle? I wanna plug in. You must have been reading Stock Talk today. I mean it, guys. Like, I would totally do Neuralink. I would totally do it. So, what else we got, guys? Give me some questions here. Alright, there we go. Sorry, I had to pull up my thing. I accidentally closed it. I'm in, StreamYard. Alright. Nope, no, no, no. It's fascinating to me, though. I mean, there's a lot of things about Neuralink that are absolutely terrifying too, but I've lived my life. My kid's almost 18. Plug me up, see what happens. What if they live Yeah, live I would not have a job. I would you cannot yeah, I this is believe it or not, this is Amy with a filter. So, it just has Cookie and Lee and all them in the garage, this is filtered Amy for sure. So, I think we come down this time. This might be the time when we come down. We'll see what happens here in the next couple minutes. But as you could see, same thing, we're kinda watching the previous wick low, and that's what you do. Every time you take a step up, find that wick low, see if it picks up and keeps going. Um, but if you're in the trade, I don't suggest shifting away from the chart. Roblox just pushed higher. So we got our impulse candle on Roblox here right now. We pushed that high a day, and you can see how that volume kicked in. and then this candle, pretty strong push with low volume. If we get another green candle here, I expect we should test like 28, 25 is my guess if we could push for the next minute or so. And realistically, if this behaves the way I expect it to, we should test this wick high here. This is kind of forming a little bit of a descending wedge at this point, but at the same time, if you're still in it, very bullish. And I went a week out on these. I didn't do 0 D or 1 DTE. I didn't do Friday. I went out the next Friday, because of a lot of members free for the open house and stuff. I wanted to give a little time. Alright, so at this point here, I like Tesla for my put below, like, 138.55-ish area. I wanna see us away from this wedge. We didn't really do a test, though. We didn't break out and test either way, whether it was bullish or bearish, in reality. So I do believe that this is the type of chart we could get caught, you know, but that's a strong dump candle here, so let's see what the next couple candles do. 'Cause this is when I'm trying to catch, everything's nice and tightened up. So that's a strong, strong impulse candle. I expect us to come back up. If it dumps right now, these are the trades I'm fine. I don't like getting into that impulse move if we didn't retest it one way or another. I those are, like, literally the trades I pass on these because we had this wedge we were in, um, we dropped quick. We lost that 55 and the VWAP pretty quickly. And these I wait. I wanna see, like, a retest candle first. There was our impulse candles. Let's see what this candle does. Believe it or not, there is trades I pass on. So this is exactly it right here, and it kinda came up enough where I would be like, "Okay, if we lose this white box, I would like to put here," but, ideally, I would like to see us at least come up and try and, like, 138.85, and then that's a superstar entry there. Just gonna pop on SPY in case anyone's in that trade. This is where we need this like to bounce or we likely could why isn't my stuff? Uh-oh. Hold on, guys. My charts aren't low. Alright. I think I have a little bit of a Wi-Fi issue here. My charts aren't loading. Sorry if I sound like a robot. It should pop back soon. Okay, there we are. Alright, so Roblox did have that impulse move. We're coming down to that box where I would kinda like that put entry. Let's go back to Tesla. That's our put entry. I'm this is this candle, when we lose this white box, that would be my put entry. I would take the depending on your 133, 134, it's a buck 46 and a dollar 72 now, dollar 45 now. Not yet though. I want to see us lose our white box first. It's not ready yet. I wanna see us lose that white box first. Ideally, like I said, I wanna see us come back and test like 138.75, 138, not 80 before we take that leg down. Because I simply don't trust this as the downtrend yet. I want there we go. So you see how, like, if you're on a weekly too, guys. If you're on a weekly contract here, this right here, you chase in on this wick, you're already down 5 to 10% and flirting with stop loss. That's why you have to wait for that retest because here you go, you could be like, "Well, damn, I stopped out." And then we came exactly where I wanted to see us come to. So that 138.80, almost to the penny. And then that's my entry. Loss of this box, this area here, that would be my entry. And they're all risky entry, guys. Remember, we are scalping weeklies. This stuff isn't 100% reliable. Even the best trends, even the most there's our dump. So if you took that entry that I had given you guys, you're up about 8 to 10% already if you took it up on that wick high. So that's what you're watching for. Um, this area here, ideally, we need to lose this wick. That's our true entry. That's that dump can and this is Tesla. Tesla's nasty too. So we get that dump for 1 candle, we could come right back up and pop into the thing. I might have pushed it a little bit. We did come back and barely touch my point, 138.80, which I was talking about, and this is where I would n normally take that put is the loss of this wick, which we didn't quite get yet, so we could pop right back up here even though we did get that dump on the previous candle. And that's just the no science. There's no 100% reliable method when it comes to day trading, guys. Even like an ascending wedge that came from a downtrend is not going, not even though 9 out of 10 times it's going to break bearish, there's still that 10% of the time it breaks bullish. And the market we're in right now, that happens a lot more. I am convinced that the last 6 to 12 months of the market had skewed most of the typical movement chart analysis will do. It's been a wild, wild ride, and I thank you guys. I know we're getting to the last 10 minutes here. I thank you guys for riding with us. A couple of shameless plugs I do want to hit up. Anyone who's a member now, DM myself, OG Nikki, or Mr. SLP. We've got some special deals for you guys if you want to extend out. Anyone who is free, we've got a holiday deal today only, ridiculously cheap. DM those same 3 people. There you go. You'd be up 15%. That's our Tesla gonna make us freak out here and come back up again. That's how Tesla behaves. Tesla's a monster, guys. Um, DM myself, Nikki, and Lee, Mr. SLP. We've got some codes for you guys. I'll put the names in the live stream chat here so you don't accidentally. And you will not get a message from anyone but us 3 regarding the holiday special for free members. Anyone trying to DM you, it's scamming. These are the 3 people you will get messages from. If you're new, these are the 3 people you will get messages from regarding our members, our deal. Anyone tries to DM you, no, you DM us. Don't trust it. There's a lot of scammers that try to act like they're penny boys. Those are our 3 salespeople right there. Anyway, so I think the Tesla comes down here. It looks like it wants to. That's what we want to see. We're getting lower highs on the 5 minute as well. Flipped at 5. I know the 1 minute's a monster too, but this is like we want to see here. Exactly what we want to see. As far as SPY, there we go. We're coming close to well, actually, we lost our put. If there's I missed it because we were on a different chart. So our put entry was here, and we are selling off here if you're watching for that put entry. But your safer entry is still going to be around this red box here. So there's our put entry, losing that white box is what we talked about, working out beautifully. Roblox is still being cradled by that 55. We got XOM. XOM, same thing. We got our put entry. Beautiful put entry here. I know we were flipping between 4 charts, but yeah, I gave the entries for all 4 of these. And there's Tesla. You're up about 20% if you took the entry with me. We're up about 50, actually about 15% now. Sorry, it just flipped to 12%. So, all right, now 16%. So there's a Tesla. And you see how See, I like when the chart works out like this. A, because I help you guys make money, but B, because like to the cent, I told you where I wanted to see that wick come up to. And there's a reason for that. We said we were looking for 138.75 to 138.80, and there is a reason for that. And it's this wick right here was part of the reason. But the second reason is I like to give it a little buffer of about 10 to 15% or 10 to 15 cents from our previous high. So even though our previous high on this candle was right here, I want to go above that a little bit. I want to go like at least half the body length of that candle. So if I'm measuring, this is a little trick I've never kind of told anyone. And there's no scientific method. I never learned this anywhere. This is personally me, my thing right here. The previous green candle, I'll draw a little box, measure half that box, and that's what I'm looking for, like half the body of the box before. So that's why I had that approximately, and I measure it like measured moves for me means a lot. This was a nice little dump off here at this point. Okay, Amy, if I'm a put, when do I abandon it? Above this box, this area here, I think we come back up because technically this could be our impulse move because if we pop on a 5 or 15 minute longer term chart, This could be our impulse candle out, and we immediately come back on. It depends on the point of your trading, what you're trying to accomplish with the trade. If you're accomplishing in and out 10-minute trades, this looks like it had our swing low impulse candle, came back up, had a little bit of a retest and came down. But if you're trading kind of swing trading on a 15-minute, we're still in our impulse move. Chart trading is subjective. And there's one word I like to talk about a lot, and that's your self-fulfilled prophecy. You've got to be really, really careful charting that you don't chart in a way where you can convince yourself of anything's going to happen. Hold on, I'll show you. So for me, and it's not really anything scientific with this. Like the this candle here, whatever candle had the previous wick high, which was this one, I like to kind of measure half that candle, and then I'll give that as my as the amount I'm willing to let it go up is like the retest. So this is about half, right? Here. So that add that onto that wick high, and that's where I would expect to see kind of the impulse, like half the candle before it. So this candle right here, I'm looking for the impulse move of that wick that came up, like the shakeout kinda, which was this. It's just half of that candle length. So on this candle, our impulse candle, I would look at the reaction candle to still consider it a downtrend. I would have looked at half of this candle here approximately, which is right here. Hold on, let me measure it down. Oh my gosh, this is making me crazy. There we go. So about that. That's what I expect the next candle. And it's almost exact, very close. So I would still consider it's like this impulse move. I wouldn't be shook that, oh, we're going back the opposite way. It's going to eat up the whole candle as long as it's like half. So actually half is a little longer. I didn't really measure it quite well. Sorry, my mouse is terrible right now. My daughter stole my good mouse. So it would more be like that. There we go. Yeah, that's about half. So and that's almost exactly what this candle is. But then this smaller candle, half of that candle is what I was looking for that next impulse move, which is about that. I hope that makes sense. It's not technical, and it's just something I experiment with myself. It's nothing I found in books. It's nothing that you can trust, but it is something that for me helps me kind of measure where not to get shook out of anything, shook out of something because it was an impulse. So anyway, we've got Ben next in just a couple minutes here, guys. I don't know if he's in the chat. If he's in here, do we see Swinging Bull? Oh, not yet. I think he's in StreamYard. But all right, I'm gonna end on StreamYard. Um, all right, cool. All right, I'm gonna end on YouTube, guys. Thank you. The next YouTube stream will be starting in just a minute here. I'm gonna end this one, and we're going to wait for Ben to pop up here for the next stream. I'm still in the Discord.